Life isn't always easy. Sometimes we find ourselves walking through storms that feel impossible to weather. We face challenges that seem beyond our control, and in those moments it's easy to feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed. You've probably asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Or where is God in all of this? Life doesn't always make sense, and sometimes the pain we go through feels unbearable. But I'm here to tell you, trust God, even when life doesn't make sense. You see, when we go through difficult seasons, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We question our faith, we question God's plan, and sometimes we even feel like giving up. But in those moments, we must remember one thing: God's timing is perfect. Trusting Him when everything seems to fall apart is the key to finding peace amidst the chaos. Even when life doesn't make sense, God's plan is unfolding in ways we might not fully understand right now. Let's face it, life can be tough. We all go through periods where it feels like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. We experience disappointment, heartbreak, and loss. And when we're in the middle of it, it's easy to feel like we're walking through a fog with no way out. We pray, we hope, and yet things don't seem to change. And the more we try to make sense of it all, the more frustrated we become. But let me remind you of something important. God sees the bigger picture. He knows the plans He has for you, even when you can't see beyond the struggle. Just because things aren't working out the way you expect doesn't mean God has abandoned you. In fact, it's often in the toughest times that God is doing His greatest work in our lives. Think about the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit, and left in a situation where everything seemed hopeless. But through it all, Joseph never lost faith. He trusted that God had a plan even when his circumstances made no sense. And in the end, God elevated him to a position of power and used him to save many lives, including his own family's. You see, Joseph's story is a reminder that even when life feels unfair, God is always working behind the scenes. He uses our struggles to build our character, strengthen our faith, and prepare us for something greater. The things you're going through right now may not make sense in the moment, but God is using them to shape you into who you need to be. You may not see the fruit of your trials today, but trust that in due time, it will come. It's important to remember that God doesn't promise us a life free of pain or hardship. In fact, He tells us in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." The truth is, trials are part of life, but they don't define us. How we respond to those trials, how we hold on to our faith in the midst of the storm, is what truly matters. You may feel like your prayers are going unanswered. You may wonder if God is even listening. But let me tell you this: God hears every prayer. He sees your tears, and He is with you in your struggle. Even when you can't feel His presence, He is right there beside you, working things out for your good. The answer to your prayer may not come in the way you expect, but God's answer is always the best answer. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to trust God when life doesn't make sense. But trust is the key to unlocking peace. It's in those moments of confusion that we need to lean on God the most. We may not understand why things are happening, but we can trust that He is in control. When we surrender our fears, our worries, and our plans to Him, He will guide us through the storm. Think of it like this: you're holding on to a piece of rope, but the rope is tangled and knotted. You try everything you can to untangle it, but it only gets worse. The more you try to fix it, the more frustrated you become. But then, you let go and allow someone else to take the rope and untangle it for you. That's what trusting God is like. We hold on to our problems, trying to figure everything out on our own, but all we do is make it worse. When we let go and trust God to take control, He begins to untangle the mess we've made and restore peace to our hearts.